Great. So welcome, welcome to our sixth session here, and we're going to be looking at our link building content and considerations when we're building up links. And again, so far in our class, we've been focusing pretty heavily on like keywords and all of these things where we could put keywords inside of our website. And we also discussed a bit about inbound and outbound links, but we never really talked about like what those actually mean and what they could do for us. So again, as as we focus on each of these, we might think that some things are more important than other, but the general idea is that all of these will work together to form a kind of cohesive structure to make our SEO settings pretty high up and get us ranked higher. And as another reminder, in case you're using these in business or anything like this as well, um, the questions and the quiz questions might give some priority to some issues over others, but as a general idea, all of these are really important. So don't think that link building is like less important than SEO keywords. They all have their own purposes and unique uses. Great. So saying that, you guys are going to learn a lot today, or I hope so at least. And what we're going to be learning is something about factors for link building, some utilities and resources, and there's a lot in the resources and utilities section of this, and I don't want to be harping on all of them all at once because I'll just go through them and show you guys some of them. But I want to make sure that you guys can go around and research them on your own in case you would like to use them. See here. We also want to go ahead and try to understand some tools for link building. And then content consideration factors, which essentially means what am I going to put inside of my content to help optimize the SEO that I have. We are then going to try to go ahead and implement some of these factors that we're talking about, and then some more tools that we can get through. Great. So link building is an area that we talked a bit about before. There's a video on it too there. But essentially, link building is a methodology or way that gets external pages of another site to point to your website. So we talked about this a bit before, but essentially an external site, let's just say that you are... let's just say that we are Black Dog Gelato, that ice cream shop, and there's a big website in Chicago that says I'm a directory of all the other ice cream shops. That website might point to your website, and that will be a link to your website, essentially. So it's a way that they can get to your website. And again, these links can be from anywhere. They could be from blogs, affiliates, or a relevant source. And inbound links that happen to you guys. So inbound is what brings you to your site. That helps your search engine understand how popular your site is. Each inbound link to a site results in some SEO boosts. Link building enhances the rankings that you get significantly. Now, because of the fact that this was something that boosted SEO properly, of course, people try to take use of it. So this is where that idea of link farming comes from. We remember that was one of the black hat SEO techniques we thought about. So again, link farming is where you just kind of spam or have sites spam inbound links to your site. And while it might give you a boost to start, the search engine is going to know that you are having a bit of an issue there. Great. Excuse me. Now, how do we go ahead and start trying out to do link building? What are some factors in it? Well, there's a bunch of them here. We have some relevance and trustworthiness, but we're going to go through each of these together and then kind of split them into categories. As a reminder for this part, in the participation for today, I do ask you guys to kind of pick three of these that you think are like kind of not the most important, but ones that you think have a bit of priority over the other ones, just based on your understanding of these. But again, I want to reiterate this idea that we don't have these like one's not always going to be more important than the other. All of these are pretty important to work together to get the link building working. Great. So relevance is a type of idea where how relevant you are affects the amount of inbound links you get. So if you have a plumbing business website, what type of external links do you think you would want to link from? Well, maybe you want to have a different website that caters to some other businesses focusing on you. Or maybe you would want one that I misread this. Apologies. Which type of website here would you want to have external links coming in from? You have one where you have flooring businesses and plumbing equipment, or would you have one that has tourists and flights and hotels? So here is an idea here where the search engine robot might not care right away which ones these are, but another person, if they click on a link to your website and they're a tourist on a hotel website and they get sent to a plumbing site, they might be a bit concerned and might think it's a bit of a scam. So essentially what's going to happen is you want to make sure that the websites that are linking to your website are proper, that they're actually relevant to what you're doing, and that they're not kind of scams or anything. Now, another idea is this localization, and we talked about this before. Localization is making it focused on your certain area. And what that means is if you are in Chicago as a plumbing business, you don't want to have people in London trying to look up you for plumbing. Again, this is the same idea with the dog walking in Chicago. We want to make sure that our business is localized to where we are. The other factor that we have here is trustworthiness and popularity. What this means is that the website that is linking to you is going to have pretty much a lot of weight in what their search engine result is going to do for you. And as we see in this example here, if the Harvard Business Review links to your website and then a lesser known newer organization links to it as well, the Harvard Business Review is going to have more weight just because they're more secured, they're more trustworthy, and that they've been around longer. So if you can somehow get your links of your website on top of some pages here that are from very reputable sources, that will help out your SEO a ton. And here's where we learned a bit about these last quarter are these social media links. So social media is now becoming a crucial factor. And these slides might even be a bit older. So these social media ideas are even more relevant now. But essentially what is going to happen here, essentially what would happen here is if you're on Facebook and you have a link for a certain product on your page, that's going to help increase your site's visibility to Facebook audience members as well. And again, we talked in depth about social media last quarter and all the things we could do for it. So you can definitely take into consideration all those aspects and build upon them for this stuff here. Great. Now, essentially what interactive content is, we can kind of think of it whenever we hear interactive, we might think of me being able to like do something with it. That's not necessarily always the case here in these terms. Interactive content is a way where we kind of build upon more traffic and what we're selling. So for example, if we have yoga mats that we're selling and we have a link from a site that provides online yoga classes, we can see that we're going to get more traffic to our website as well. And the traffic that we're getting from the website that provides yoga online classes, they're most likely going to help out with getting us into, getting us more traffic, because it's able to make us so that we see, or apologies, this site that sells the yoga mats is going to want people to try to get these lessons going as well. Sorry, I think everyone's in now. Okay, great. Sorry about that. Cool. And again, apologies for this, but interactive content again is essentially if you're selling a certain product, you can kind of link to another product that's similar to it. If you sell grills, you might have a link to a website that has grilling lessons, stuff like that as well. So those are all ideas that we can take into consideration here. Spamming here is a thing that we shouldn't do, although it might seem nice to do sometimes. Spamming is essentially a way where we can have, if we have links from spammy websites or websites that just don't look legit or anything, we're going to get penalties as well. And what happens there is that if they know that you're in like cahoots with a certain website that's spammy or anything like that, they're going to penalize you as well. Now, domain authority is something we talked about a bit yesterday, and we might have been a bit confused on what that is yesterday as well. But essentially what this means is the more established a site is, the higher the reliability of it is. And then what happens here is that if a new website that is being created receives links or inbound links from authoritative sites or sites that have been around longer, it may help them rank earlier in these search engines. And then, excuse me, in comparison to ones, in comparison from links that come from unknown sites. So this is kind of straightforward, right? We can kind of think about this in the way of actual worker bosses. If you have a really well-known boss in the field and you're brand new to work, but this boss pretty much recommends you for the role to someone, they're going to go ahead and try to make sure that you're well known, or sorry, their recommendation is going to allow you to rank a bit higher. Yes. Oh, I see a few questions about the submissions. Apologies. After I finish up the lectures here, I'll go ahead and do those submissions as well. So let me just get through these and then I can let you guys submit those. Sorry about that. Great. Cool. User engagement content. Again, what user engagement content is a way for us to, see here. Yep, apologies. If people like your content, essentially, that's going to help link to your site as well. And then, of course, if you have like popular influencers that link to your website, that's going to help out a ton too. And linking content freshness is the way that we can go ahead and try to link to our website using new links or fresh content, essentially. Meaning we don't want links to link to a really old page on our website, as people might be weirded out or might not want to see that. Great. Cool. So those are, I went through a few of them pretty quickly, and there's a lot of different categories in those. But again, for the participation for today, what I would like you guys to do is just kind of look through these and think about 3 of them that you think hold a bit more importance or are a bit more crucial out of all 8 of them. Great. Now, we are going to go through some resources that can help out with maximum optimization with link building strategies, essentially ways that you can go ahead and build some links. And again, these ones are pretty interesting, but I just want to make sure that we understand what they're all doing. Content-based strategies are essentially ways to link to your website using interactive media or using some type of tutorials or anything like that. If you're able to embed content on your user web pages that can help link back to your site, that will be perfect as well. And then, of course, more ways to boost your SEO and links and stuff is to just have reviews and testimonials on your website as well. What you might have is maybe you are selling a product on Amazon, and in the review that you have from some users, they link back to your website. That's one way to boost up your link SEO strategies as well. But again, content-based strategy is essentially saying the content that you create for your website or business is going to help link back to your website. Great. If we Great, right? Good question. So there's actually a few tools that we can look at here. We have a few tools that help out with links, but actually right here, there's some tools such as the Open Site Explorer that's listed right here that help find broken links on some target sites. So what that means is you can go around and try to see where your links are coming in from. And again, this might there's a few drawbacks here, right? Because sometimes some websites that are spammy might just go ahead and try to try to do the backlinks. And then, of course, if you're associated with a website that's a bit more spammy or anything, that's going to reflect negatively on you. So there's a few tools out here that help manage your backlinks. And then after these slides here, I'm going to go through some of the recommended platforms we can use. But we could definitely use some tools there to help out with that. Open Site Explorer essentially goes through broken links and then goes about asking you to fix them. And then this one here with email outreach campaigns, I think it might work, but email is a bit older, so we might not rely on them a ton. But again, as this says here, this tactic is more for smaller niche situations. Now, here's a really important one. If we remember from last quarter with DM150, we talked about guest blogging a ton, right? How someone can go on and be a guest blogger and it will help boost your your presence online. And essentially what happens is you need to go on to where you are kind of getting your audience or you're popular and go ahead and write guest posts there. Again, you want to try to be like in the up to date with some the social media aspects. If like Twitter is popular for your website, go ahead and try to go on Twitter there. But for example, this first bullet point, what might be an example of this? Well, let's just say that you are some type of let's just say that you are a company that designs like electronics, and then there's a really famous YouTuber who uses a lot of cool electronics in his videos. You might be able to maybe do a guest video with him on his on his YouTube channel and just talk about like what the electronics you make. Maybe you have a cool new one that he hasn't seen yet, so you bring it on. Just essentially what you want to do is say, hey, this guy gets his stuff from me, and then people, you don't know if it will, but someone might go ahead and check you out if that's the case. Because some people might be more interested in the electronics than the person. But regardless of that, that guy is going to be, or the influencer online is going to be able to leverage a lot of audience for you. Again, you don't want to really be sneaky about your stuff. I would say a really bad thing to do is pretty much jump onto someone else's platform and advertise yourself on them without their permission. So definitely don't sneak a link on your website on guest posts. I would say if you're doing a guest post on an influencer or anything like that, make sure you speak to them about it first because you are in their platform and say like, hey, I have this blog written up. What do you think? And stuff like that as well. Don't try to be sneaky with your business partners. So some forums and RSS feeds and blogging are another ways that we could go ahead and boost up our SEO and link rankings. Again, you want to make sure that you're an active participant of the community where you are located in. Now, what exactly is an RSS feed facility? Let's see if I can image here. Great. An RSS feed facility here. Is it a really small one? Can I zoom in? Cool. So an RSS feeds facility is a way that we can feed in links and, XML files to web servers, and then the XML files, the web server tries to find out what websites are inside of those files. So essentially what we're doing here is if we feed this into an RSS feeder, we are going to make sure that a link is added to our blog sites and stuff like that as well. This, you don't really need to worry about this a ton, but the general idea here with the forums and blogging is to make sure that you're active in the community where you want to get your audience members from, and then have links in the posts to your website that you are making. Social media, again, this is a fantastic way to go about boosting yourself. Word of mouth publicity from others in social media is very beneficial. And again, this idea is referenced in DM150 as well, but essentially you want to make sure that you're present in these communities. So I would say you could do forums and blogging, but social media is another good way that you could join them. There's a few web directories that we can work with as well. And here. Let's see here if we have one. So web directories here. Here's a few of them. Web directories essentially, now this is a really older one. It's called Best of the Web. But essentially what these are is a listing of all of these websites and inside of these directories that, that go ahead and link to other people as well. So we have a licensed attorney in Indiana here. And then we can see that we get their website. Or then maybe I want to go to games here or something like that as well. If I click on games, maybe I'll do IT services. We can go to employment, and then there's a bunch of items here. There's some Cisco jobs. So essentially what a web directory is a way to compile various different websites that all have certain categories. So again, if you are selling electronics, you're going to want to maybe be on a web directory about electronics and so forth. Great. Let's see here. Sorry, everyone. Someone is... Okay. Sorry, everyone. I think one of my Zoom links on Moodle is broken or something like that, so I will... Let's see if this works here. Sorry, everybody. Okay. I'm not sure what is going on today with this guy. All right, I'll need to double check my Moodle soon to make sure that nothing's broken, or at least not too broken. Okay. So again, on social media, make sure that you are out there in the community. Now here's a really, so this is going to be what your project 3 is going to be based around as well. I'm going to introduce project 3 after this one, but there's a competitor-based research. And what this means is you can go ahead and try to find out the backlinks that are being received by your competition. And then you could go ahead and save those interactions to analyze prospective audiences. So the thing about this is, this isn't like an invasion of privacy or anything like that. You want to make sure that you research who you're competing against, because there's no point in trying to start up your business if you're going to be behind your people that you're trying to beat out for a job, right? So what you need to do is use some of these research tools that we're going to talk about in a bit. But you can also... and then, of course, if your competitors are linked to websites as well, or if they're on like a certain influencer website as well, you could try to reach out to the same influencer website too, and to say, hey, I'm in the same type of field. Are you looking for more people, or is this guy, is this one not as good, and so forth. Link building tools are going to be really nice ways to go ahead and analyze all of our backlinks. And this is something that Mai was talking a bit about here. Great. So what this is a way for us to go ahead and analyze the links of any website for free. Let's see if I can find a website with some... Good. Let me see if I can... so this... Oops, easy. This website here talks a bit about backlinks, and if I go ahead and click this button to get the data from it, it's gonna freeze. Okay. Okay, so now this is a huge website because there's quite a bit in there. And just for an example, this is what the website looks like. So all of these are links. And then there's a bunch of links here as well. And essentially what this website does is it says, okay, we have out of 1.4 million total links on this website, we have 121,000 unique ones. 202,000 link back to the homepage of Moz.com because it's a larger website. And then the link influencer source determines the quality and the number of links that point to a website. So essentially they have 100%. And these guys, if you see here, they've been registered on 1998. So Moz has been around for a ton of time, right? And they're very authoritative, and they have a lot of things here that they've done a lot of work with. But let's see if we do our good friends Black Dog Gelato here. I don't think it will take as long. Yep, cool. So we can see here that we have quite a few links to the homepage. We have 94% trusted links, which is really good. We have 75 unique links, which isn't a bad deal. And then we can see here, look at this down here. We are able to see, I don't know if this is what you were asking for as well with the backlinks. we can see here that we can see where the links are coming in from. So Chicago Reader has one, and then we can also, let's see here. If I grab this link, you copy it, try to go to here. Is that going to work? Great. So let's see if, it might not be there just yet. Oh, okay. So it didn't take me to the specific one, but we can see where our links are coming from. This one's coming from Thrillist. This one is coming from NBC Chicago. And as you can see here, there's lots of different links here from various different sources that link back to our Black Dog Gelato website. So this is a tool called Open Link Profiler, and this is just one of many that you can use to go ahead and determine where your links are coming from. And why would you want to use this tool? Well, you might be interested in figuring out who's linking to your website, the popularity of it, and what to change for them as well. Again, OpenLink Profiler can give you the freshest backlinks to your site and so forth. Alltop is another tool that helps you with start networking with influencers. Let's see here if I can pull this guy up. Great. And now, so essentially what's happening here, if we go into Alltop is a way that helps aggregate some of the news and information in real time from around the web. So what you could do is with Alltop, you could sign up for a site and then try to pick your certain categories. Let's say you're in tech. Let's just say that you're starting like a cryptocurrency account or anything like that. You could go ahead and look at Alltop and see all of these areas here that you can research. And then you could try to find who is, what exactly is doing what here. You can see from, or where is it? Reddit down here? Right here, you can see some more posts and stuff like that too. So there's a lot of information you can use with Alltop. And cool, Flickr is a cool one as well. We might have seen this one a few times before. See if I can pull it up here. Great. Flickr is a cool community that helps explore just communities and stuff like that as well. And it is more so for images, but it's a photo and video sharing stuff. The cool thing that you can get from this one is that whenever you share a photo to this website, you could go ahead and add a link to that photo. Maybe you are a photographer and you want to share your portfolio with more people. Flickr is a way that you can share it to a big group of people that are interested in it, and then that might get you some serious backlinks as well. And again, you could do this like with, so let's just say that you are creating tutorial videos on how to sew or anything, or knit or anything like that. You could join like a Reddit community about knitting, and then you can just post on there saying like, hey, I'm doing a tutorial on this. What do you guys think? Or like, can you share this with your friends? Is this tutorial a good thing? And even if that doesn't get you famous right away, people can give you feedback and stuff like that as well. Now, we went through a lot of tools here, and the last few items that we're going to look at is some content considerations, and these are just general ideas on what to do whenever we're working with these. So, again, remember to make sure that your content is engaging, and that you want to make, if you have engaging content, the users are going to spend more time on your website. And of course, the purpose of our SEO content is to provide meaningful information based on the user's search queries. So whatever a user searches for, we want to make sure we're giving them the answer to their questions. Great. So the content that you post should be relevant. It should be always up to date, and ensure that and make sure that the users are going to get valuable information from your web pages. So make sure your content is relevant. I feel like I've repeated this like hundreds of times, but don't be out of date with your stuff. Maybe remember to double check and make sure that it's readable and engaging. Remember, this is some stuff I think we talked a bit about already here. Did we? Okay, so again, these might be similar to what we talked about in Chapter 7. But essentially with keywords, remember, don't stuff your keywords in your content. You can include them in the first lines, just like Black Dog Gelato did. And then, of course, as it says down here, if keywords are in the initial portion, it's going to be better for that SEO link. And again, as we saw yesterday with the headings and subheadings, we are going to be able to input keywords into the titles and headings of our websites, and then that will help boost our SEO as well. Great. Whenever you're going about topic-specific content, maybe you can link some jargon or buzzwords to more authoritative sites. So again, let's just say that you are a tech company developing electronics and there's a new piece of technology that Tesla is making. What you could do is talk about all that stuff and then inside of your website, link to Tesla.com. And another example here is if you have a website about travel to Australia, you can give you some more information or outbound links for information about kangaroos. And what this means is this is going to help out with your purpose, right? You can kind of split up. So you don't want to talk about kangaroos a ton in your website, right? Because what's going to happen is the content of your website is going to shift in the SEO to accommodate people looking for kangaroos. And you're going to miss out on people who want to travel to Australia. So even if your website is about traveling to Australia, it might be more about kangaroos if you keep talking about them. So make sure that you split up the links, right? So again, as the examples see here, or apologies, the more that your outbound links go to more authoritative websites, the better it is for you as well. And then, of course, always make sure that whenever you link to a website that it's efficient, that it's a well-made website, and that it's not spammy or anything. These are important here, and this is more of just like a design choice. But again, make sure that the fonts and stuff that you choose are visually appealing, that they look well. And then, of course, make sure that you can use lists or anything on your website. But again, the design and layout of your website's up to you. And of course, always proofread and don't copy or plagiarize anyone. These ones are straightforward. It's very tempting when you're creating a website to go ahead and just kind of plagiarize stuff or copy stuff over. It's kind of exhausting, I understand. But just make sure you don't do that and make sure you always use a spell checker. This is very similar to the relevant content, but make sure that your content is not just relevant, but it's high quality and intuitive. Again, this is all important. If you are baking cookies all the time, and maybe don't try to stick with a single recipe on your website. Maybe try to use some gluten-free cookies. Maybe make a recipe for keto cookies. Make sure that your content is high quality and that it's laid out easily. Great. There's a few more tools here that I just want to cover pretty quickly, and these are extra ones. And of course, there's a myriad of tools out there that we can use. The first one, called Dig, is a news aggregator that helps provide compelling content for a global audience. Let me see here if I can pull it up for us. And essentially what's happening here is this tells us what's going on in the world. What is the internet talking about? So we could see here that cast members and crews, I think the Friends show had like a new pick out there as well, so that's why. But we can see here's some popular stuff. One of them is a question about what if we stop calling the cops and stuff like that as well. So it's from all aspects of life. But you can see here, plant-based diets can help prevent next COVID. Talk around the elephant in the room, and then there's a bunch of stuff in here we can look at. These range from like racial issues to dietary issues to everything. It's just what the internet is about. Now, Quora is a great place where you can ask questions and actually get answers right now. Quora has been around for a while, but essentially it's like a way where you could say, how do I do this? And then people get to respond. Now, Quora does have a way to rank... Excuse me. Excuse me, everyone. Sorry. Quora does have a way to rank people. So if people respond to your questions or anything and they're a bit more higher up, it might help out as well. And then, of course, LinkedIn Pulse is a blogging platform for LinkedIn, but having a LinkedIn account is good enough, I would say, for this one. But remember that all these tools are ways to explore content and then figure out how to maybe access people or websites that might help with your questions there. On Quora, for instance, you could say, I'm making a website about cookies. Who should I link to that is a famous like cookie maker and stuff like that? So there's a lot of information out there. Of course, Copyscape is another one that wasn't mentioned here, but that's just a plagiarism checker tool. But always make sure that whatever, if you are going to copy anything, make sure you give credit properly. Great.